Good morning.
Good morning.
To what is pretty much almost too early for a panel
Yeah, especially MAGFest.
at MAGFest. Let's be
Almost.
fair. I think we all were drinking until 4. Good. How you guys doing?
I need coffee.
That's okay. We'll copy right after the panel. Oh wait.
Yeah.
After the signing, then coffee. By the way, sorry. I'm just enjoying both your costumes over there. Well done.
Mercy. No. I saw that earlier.
So yes, good morning. I think we'll all be coming slowly online over the next few minutes as we get ourselves to consciousness. So yeah, welcome to Screen. Whoa.
It's too early for that.
Too early for screens.
Screens, cameras.
That's our new catchphrase at this convention.
It's too early for that.
So yes, welcome to Geek Pride. This primarily is just sort of a hangout conversational panel. The guidebook description was a little, I would say douchey. But I almost didn't want to go to my panel. So don't worry, this is just general discussion. It's a general Q&A conversation piece, and basically all of us waking up, I think, is the key to this real panel here.
Yeah.
So for
Morning coffee talk with Matt and Marisha at MAGFest.
that is now the panel.
Morning coffee talk.
If
Here on 102.4, the Smooth Jazz Network.
no, Marisha, they're offering someone maybe getting you coffee.
Yes. Who offered? I'll take it. I don't know who you are, but I love you. What? Yeah. That would be amazing. Lots of cream and lots of sugar. Almost as
for
much.
tea.
Oh, for tea. Lots of cream and lots of sugar. Yeah. As long as it
You're
has.
amazing.
You are amazing. Holy shit. Oh, lifesaver. Oh, wow.
Good sir. Earl Grey?
Earl Grey works, yeah. Yeah.
Earl
I mean,
Grey
whatever,
breakfast.
whatever. Just as long as it has caffeine and cream and
You're
sugar.
good. There's like switches on here, and I want to hit them, but I shouldn't.
Man,
I don't know what they do.
we're such a lively bunch. So,
Hi!
hi! How's everyone's Saturday morning? Yeah. Everyone have a good Friday night? Yeah, good.
Damn
good.
right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Same. They're about.
Played a shit ton of pinball last night. That was fun.
I have a soft spot for pinball in my heart, and it's hard to find pinball these days. So
Yeah.
I love pinball. I know you're it's not your favorite.
Well, no, because there's other games too. But I enjoy pinball as well. Did anyone get a chance to try the Frogger machine where they made Frogger invisible?
Oh my God, we did that. It was so great. It was like a
Yeah.
joint effort. It was awesome. Got to the other side. It was like the highlight of our 2017 so
Like,
far.
I know there are progressive levels, and it's like an entire Frogger game, but just beating the first
First
level
level,
was beating
yeah.
the game as far
It was
as
kind
I'm
of- it was
concerned.
amazing.
Like,
It was
it's-
awesome.
It's an endeavor.
Yeah.
But that's one of the many reasons why I love MAGFest, because shit like that is here. And you're like, sure, of course it is.
Yeah.
And then you lose a half an hour to it.
Yeah.
I guess we should do introductions. Who are you?
Hello, I am Marisha Ray. I am a voice actor and personality, and I do a little bit of everything out of Los Angeles, California. You can see me on shows such as Critical Role. You can also see me on Signal Boost. You can hear me in Star Wars Battlefront and Lego Avengers and Fire Emblem Fates and Persona. And I like nerdy things.
Yeah.
Pretty geeky. Yeah, that's me. How about you? Who are you?
That's a very existential question.
Yeah.
Let me move this laptop hop over, because it's not mine. I don't need it. Oh, this wasn't even plugged in the whole time? It takes the high stakes out of my positioning. What? Shut up. I'm easy to amuse. Hi, my name is Matthew Mercer. I'm also a voice actor and general all-around nerdy-ass person who occasionally plays Dungeons & Dragons. There you go.
Why did you force us into that introduction when you gave such a half-assed one?
No, because you gave a really good one. Like, by comparison, I would have...
Oh, so you just saw that someone else did a really good job and you decided to just not try? That's not a good lesson to teach people.
At 11:30 a.m. on a Saturday at MAGFest.
How do you think I got so good at introducing myself, Matt?
You went
practiced. This is getting far off the rails already. All right.
So yes, Geek Pride. I mean, the essence and theme of this panel is the fact that geek culture becoming pop culture has been a very prominent transition in this generation, especially these past 10 years. And it has its pros and cons in many ways. I think the pros far outweigh the cons, especially as a kid that grew up where a lot of geek culture was considered misunderstood, was something that you kind of had to keep hidden for the most part, you felt, because there just was a lack of understanding, or at least a general idea or space that it was acceptable to essentially let your geek flag fly. And it's been kind of, for me, it's been a very welcoming and very wonderful experience to go from that point in my younger adult life and childhood to watching this kind of new era of not just emerging geeks, but pretty much a realization that everyone in their own right is really passionate about something. And that's kind of what the essence of geek culture is. Like, what we know primarily is geek culture, what this event revolves around: video games, cartoons, all these things that have long time, held that banner. Being a geek, essentially, in my opinion, at its core, means just being extremely passionate about a specific hobby or something that is important to you, so much to the point where when you find out somebody else is also interested in the same thing, you're like, oh my God, okay, let's talk about it. So yeah, it's been kind of cool to watch that definition expand through the years, and what we've held as a very, very strong point of personal identification, kind of fun to talk about in any space without feeling like you're going to be judged necessarily. So it's that transition is a very kind of a beginning basis of this panel's conversation, if anything. And mind you, that comes with its own difficulties. We've both had our moments through life where we've had to defend ourselves from people that were not quite as understanding of our different standpoints too, and I'm sure many of you have had those same circumstances in your life. And that's part of what also makes it such a wonderful culture and community that's built out of it, is that we've persevered through these periods of judgment and come through both stronger for it and not necessarily holding against the other side too. And misunderstanding and misinformation is the biggest proponent of that type of a dissonance, I think.
I mean, I wouldn't say we're out of the woods yet.
No, by no means are we out of the woods. But compared to what it was before,
Sure.
I think that there is a momentum culturally that if we continue to carry that as a people and as a group of trendsetters showing a better way to progress, that the next generation won't even have any of those stumbling blocks, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Word.
Touche. But yeah, so as far...
Tea?
Your tea has arrived.
Ah! That's okay. You're amazing.
That's okay.
High dexterity, it's fine. I also got these. You don't want them all, you're amazing.
If you don't want them, I'll eat them. Woman after my
I'm
own
good.
heart. Love it.
I'm just taking care
You're
of it.
amazing. No, you don't understand.
This changes everything, you realize. This is... No, this is the Mentos commercial right here. This is the moment where all of a sudden Marisha goes like, oh, I can pick up a car by myself. By the way, Mentos commercials, not teaching good lessons for life in general. That's true. We're probably not.
See, Matt, and she wasn't even in the room when I gave my description of myself. She knows. Just have to believe in yourself.
I'm not saying not to believe in yourself. I just don't think Mentos are going to fix any issue you have. Yeah, I don't like hate looking forward to 2 hours at the DMV and be like, I'll just pop a Mentos, and then I'm still sitting with a Mentos now for 2 hours in a DMV.
It's an impressive Mentos if it lasts for 2 hours.
You're right. This changes everything. Anyway, so welcome. There were either any holdover questions from our Critical Role panel last night that you wanted to ask that didn't have a chance to happen. Now will be your opportunity to bring those to the front microphone, or any other questions in general about the voice acting industry, about, I don't know, bowling ball etiquette, in which case you're at the wrong panel, but sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, just go ahead and line up here at the microphone, and we'll go ahead and we'll start taking this into the Q&A portion of the morning's panel.
Emphasis on morning.
Yes.
Morning.
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well.
Yay.
Good morning.
I don't actually have a question. I talked to you for a second after the panel. I was the one whose fiance is related to Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes.
She's actually waiting in the line for the signing for me because she's the best person in the world.
Oh.
But I was wondering, you know, if you want to maybe give me something to get him in touch with you or something at some point?
Yes. Please.
All right, so at the signing? Or?
Yes, at the signing. That would be awesome.
We're huge fanboys of Lynn's.
She actually had tickets before it was on Broadway, and she's like, I'll see it later, Mom. You know, it's just another one of Lynn's plays. And
Oops.
hasn't seen it still.
Oh.
Wow. She'll remember that on her deathbed.
That's amazing. No, we will definitely take you up on that offer
Yeah,
and exploit
100%.
your connection
Yes.
shamelessly. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah. We'll talk in a bit.
Amazing. Thank you.
Hello
Hi.
again.
Hi, how are you?
So my question is,
Yes.
I'm not going to bother using the mic. If you were going to make a game, you have infinite money, you can make whatever game you want. What would you make, and would you be voice actors in it?
Oh, interesting.
Whoa. Any game?
Any video game, new system, new D&D add-on, what would you do?
Oh, man. Like, you want to create something original,
No.
but at the same time, there's so many great games that I would like to see remade with an infinite budget.
Oh.
Because there's that aspect, too. So it's like, do I go nostalgia, or do I go, my own path? That's already in itself, like, a serious question. Because half of me is like, well, we could all use a, PS4 level Chrono Trigger remake, right? Because then, someone has to voice Magus.
Yeah.
To answer your second question. Man. Or like
That's a tough one.
like a remake of the original Maniac Mansion.
Oh my God, yeah, that would actually be awesome.
I would
the
love
NES
that.
Maniac Mansion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did the tentacle as well, but
Yeah.
that one is a little more passable as far
Totally.
as like expected modern day graphics and storytelling. But like, if you haven't played the original like LucasArts Maniac Mansion, it kickstarted a lot of fun genre games thereafter. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's true. There was like a bunch of great kind of like point and click adventure games I think would be great in like if you start, because VR is like the new thing. It's gonna be, man, some like the room with VR. That would be awesome. Anytime. I
Like
don't
Tommy
know.
Wiseau's The Room and
No, not that room. It's a puzzle game.
the puzzle game. Yes.
I don't know.
And Tommy Wiseau's
And
The
Tommy
Room in
Wiseau's The
VR.
Room.
It's like he
Yes.
threw the water bottle right at me. It was incredible.
Actually, that would be amazing. That's my answer. Tommy Wiseau's The Room, the VR experience.
You can be her favorite customer in The Room VR experience. God,
Choose. Do you want to be either Lisa or Mark?
Either way, hold trigger to tear him apart. Thank you
That's
for the
good,
can of worms this question was. Well done. on Kickstarter, 2017. Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Good. How you doing, bud?
Doing well. Did Vin Diesel actually roll 2 nat 20s?
Yes. Which let me tell you,
I didn't believe it. I was like, no, he didn't.
dude. Okay, you have to.
Hollywood.
I'm gonna give you a little preface here. The pressure that was mounting on this circumstance. I get a call 3 days before filming this thing from Dan Casey at Nerdist. Hey Matt, so we want to have you, if you're available, to DM for Vin Diesel on Monday. I'm like, yeah.
I'm available
And you know,
now.
like, you clear the books for that shit. He's like, okay, so we'll have him for like a 2-hour adventure, whatever you want to do. Just make sure it's kind of themed after the film, The Witch Hunter, because it's kind of a tie-in promotional thing. I'm like, totally, I can do that. And that was kind of the spark that eventually became The Blood Hunter. But, yeah. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I designed this like 2-hour. I'm like, all right, it's kind of condensed, but you know, we can make it work. I can squeeze a story arc into here, make it fun for him. Hopefully, I hope it's okay. Then the day before, I get a call again, like, hey, so we got word back from Vin Diesel's manager. It looks like we're only gonna have an hour with him. So if you can truncate the story a bit to fit with an hour, I'm like, okay, all right. So.
And then you showed up on set.
And then I showed up on set about an hour before he arrived so we can set up the thing and get everything ready. And like, hey, so he's actually only going to be able for about 20 minutes or so. Can you truncate about 20 minutes? I'm like,
Because they were like, well, we have him for an hour, so we need like 10 minutes to get him just through hair and makeup really fast.
Hair?
That gives you, right?
Wax.
Yeah. And then they needed, like, they also wanted 20 minutes of promotional Q&A to, like, just ask them questions about the movie and stuff, which we begged them to try and scrap it because I was like, guys, I see what you're doing. They still wanted to, like, have a promotional element for the movie, but I'm like, you will find those exact same questions in every other interview for every other press junket. You can probably go find all those answers on like E! Like, why don't we just play D&D for an hour? So yeah, they ended up cutting it down to like 20, 30 minutes.
yeah.
But it
20
was still
minutes,
amazing.
And I squeezed it to about
30,
25
yeah.
and 30, and they were like, I got it. I'm like, no!
You can have him. Vin is mine.
So on top of that pressure, what happens if Vin Diesel, who hasn't played D&D in a little bit, shows up and rolls poorly?
Right? Like 1, 2, 4.
Yeah, I'm like, if he just biffs it, this is going to be the worst experience of my entire career. But I have no control over that, and he's here. We're ready to go. Yay!
Well, plus on top of that, they kept telling like Laura and Travis and Chobot and like the other people who were in that, being like, okay, Vin is the star here, you know, so just really kind of let him be the hero in the campaign, let him do it, so let him kind of be the leader. So he was like, so Matt gets started and he's like, what do you guys want to do? And you just see all of their faces go to Vin, and Vin is like, he's like, I haven't played him in 15 years. So there was like a good solid like couple minutes there at the top where everyone was like, you talk, not me.
Yeah,
No.
he started off a little, just like, probably pretty baked, and
It might have been baked, yeah.
pretty sure he was, and good on him. And just kind of like uncomfortable at first because he just was thrown into this chaos, and he just took him a little bit to kind of get going. But as you watch like the video, once he finally clicks back in, especially after that first critical, which the minute he rolled the natural 20, there was such a weight off my shoulders at that point. Like all the tension that had been building, and it could have been the biggest like just face plant I've ever made. Just went away. Just one critical was all I needed, because watching him go critical, become like an 8-year-old suddenly, I was like, thank you. Thank you so much.
Which I'll also never forget the camera guy. I'll never forget this because he's a big guy. He's a big guy.
He's, like,
and you get in
legitimately
person and he's an even bigger guy. And so they had like just like one of our PAs sitting in to kind of get the frame, doing test shots and whatnot. And then Vin comes in and sits down and he's like, boom, in the frame. And the camera guy that was there was like, okay, you know what? Let me back my camera way up. Let me adjust focus. Oh man, I need a wider frame. He's a big guy. Like, I'll never forget it. Never had to pull the sticks back. Anyway, continue.
So the first 20 was a huge weight, and the second 20, at that point I was like, all right, now you're just trying too hard. But thank you.
Did you check his dice after? Just
They were my dice.
They're yours?
Because they didn't have any, like, who here in this set has dice? I'm like, take your pick. So yeah, they were my dice, which then I'm like, I'm gonna hold on to you, D20. You're my friend now. So I was so excited that happened because he was supposed to be the hero, but like the hero was also starting off with a little trepidation. So it was like those are the moments that he needed to kind of get into it and feel good and like, yeah, I'm the master. Sure enough, it'd been great. I will say, a person of Vin Diesel's international stardom and success as an actor, there is like a 98% chance when you meet them in person that they're going to be a complete asshole. And so I was trying very hard to just keep my reservations and not judge and like just hope for the best. And me and him got a good like 5-6 minutes one-on-one, just prepping for the game and just chatting, getting to know each other a little bit. He is one of the nicest and coolest dudes I've met, and I was so happy to find that out. Once again, being baked probably helped. But no, he like legitimately was just down to earth, all smiles, excited to play, and just wanted a refresher on the rules. And then he was like, "Okay, yeah, no, armor class. Oh, no, I remember that. Okay," and he got into it, and then we had a conversation about his background in theater and how he started playing D&D originally, and yeah, I became a fan. Like I was a fan already from like Pitch Black. I wasn't much in the XXX games or Fast and the Furious, except for maybe 3, because that one's ridiculous.
You shut your mouth about Fast and Furious.
I didn't say I didn't like them. I just said that I've come to enjoy
Those
them
are
even
the best
more.
guilty pleasures.
I agree. But it wasn't until I really met him that I had to go back and be like, all right, I'll rewatch all of them. Which, for the record, if you guys have the opportunity, the complete tangent, there's a Universal Studios Fast and the Furious ride, and on YouTube, some people have hidden cameras in to show you the 3D experience if you haven't done it. Vin Diesel is the cover of everything on that ride. He shows up for like 2 seconds in the ride, and he shows up hanging from a helicopter, and the proportions are so off that Vin Diesel is somehow 14 feet tall, clutching this like itty-bitty little helicopter.
Double the size of the copter. Like the physics make no sense.
I like to think that was part of his contract. He's like, I won't do this unless I'm bigger than every copter. You're like, sure, Vin.
Yeah, it's funny.
Anyway, the tangent over.
Anyway,
Thanks.
yeah.
Good question, thank you.
Morning, I'm Josh.
Morning.
So
Hi, Josh.
my question is, D&D, Matt, has really inspired you as far as voice acting. I know, Marisha, you were saying last night for Keela, more empathetic. So if you had not found D&D, how would that affect you today?
Life would be like when you're still in Kansas in Wizard of Oz. Kind of like black and white, I imagine.
All around me are familiar
faces. I mean, I don't know. That's hard to say. That's kind of one of those weird
Like, do you think
multiple
you would still be
timelines.
doing whatever it was before that brought you into voice acting, I suppose?
Yeah. What, how do you mean?
Because D&D inspired you,
Yeah.
right, to get to here. So if you didn't have that spark, that thing,
Oh, I see.
You know.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, I probably would have still pushed for a voiceover career at the time because I grew up on cartoons and video games anyway. But a lot of my practice, a lot of my skill set, a lot of those early harnessed psychoses, I like to refer to them as, where I began to give random non-existent characters names and voices, that all was honed there. So I would have probably been many steps behind as far as the repertoire and the experience. So I would probably not be here at MAGFest, probably wouldn't be having a career probably as extensive as I have. And I would be trying to figure out what the hell to do with my free time. If I didn't discover it in high school, I still would have discovered it later on. It was one of those things that the universe just kept pushing it towards me, like, no, trust me, you want to play this. And I was like, I already am, but thank you. But if I never had the experience of tabletop RPGs, I would just feel hollow inside and not know why. I would have those long listless stares at like 2 a.m. out the window and be like, something's just not right. Something's missing. Your turn.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of thing. I had a heavy background in acting and theater and video
Right.
games and stuff like that, so I probably would have still ended up in a adjacent path. How is it? We're
good.
But definitely probably not as rounded and like the way that D&D has definitely helped flesh everything out in a weird way. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. Yes.
Good question.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Brandon. First
Hi,
of all,
Brandon.
love you guys. Love the work that you do, especially Critical Role. Try to watch every Thursday night, but me and a friend of mine are about to totally dedicate ourselves to watching it now. So
Awesome.
Put more work into it. But my question for you guys is what's your geekiest guilty pleasure?
What is your geekiest guilty pleasure, Marisha?
We're not
I was trying to
recording.
think of the guiltiest,
I would.
geekiest.
One of mine, though it's much more prominent nowadays, is collecting, categorizing, and arranging Dungeons and Dragons miniatures.
Nice.
But thanks to Periscope and our community that has grown, that is no longer much of a secret. In fact, it feeds the issue at hand. But you know, things that wouldn't be expected. I have a very, very, let me see. I have a very heavy soft spot in my heart for RPG-themed, for lack of a better term, business simulators, like the Racketeer series.
Nice.
Which is where, if those aren't familiar with it, it's kind of like a Japanese fantasy RPG, but instead of being like the heroes, you play as the item shop owner. And you have to get stock in, you have to order things, you actually sponsor adventurers and send them in dungeons to get equipment and materials to bring back so you can make better equipment that you can then sell, and you have to make sure that you arrange and upgrade the displays to look better for the adventurers so they come through, and I love it.
Yeah, that's man. I'm sure I have a ton. I'm just trying to think of them all. I love my label maker. Labeling things is amazing. I'm obsessed with that damn label maker.
That's my favorite response. I love it so much. Love to label.
It's so cool.
It doesn't exist until it has its actual name on it. That's when I know it's real.
I love it. It's been great.
It's awesome.
I'll leave it at that.
Label maker.
Label maker.
Good morning. My
Morning.
name is Brett.
Brett.
I'm actually here with my wife, that gamer girl.
Oh, Sarah.
Last night. Critical Role has been such a big positive force and inspiration for a lot of people, and with the video from the Christmas episode of Talks Machina, everyone saying what it meant to them and how, for a lot of people, it changed them for the better. It changed me for the better. It changed my wife for the better. How has it changed you?
Oh, man.
I mean, I talked a little bit last night on,
Right.
kind of what Keyleth has taught me and whatnot. The definite outreach and, continuing outpouring from the community is definitely amazing. I mean, because it's like the best community that we've ever been a part of. I came from hosting, and once again, like I was saying, I did some, been around and been in the web and geek and video game sphere for, about 6, going on 8 years now, somewhere in there. And as we all know, the many communities out there and the web isn't very nice or welcoming. And I specifically, when I was doing hosting and video games, I more or less I stepped back from it there for a while. I'm like I didn't 100% separate myself, but I was just like, why make things for a community that apparently very vocally doesn't want me a part of it? So I was like, never mind, forget it. Like I would open my mouth about video games and I would just get, fake, bitch, poser, tits or get the fuck out, like you name it, I've heard it. So I was like, what the fuck, then why? Like, what's the point? And then so when we did Critical Role, we had a very similar trepidation. Like, it's a very personal thing for us. It's very private. It's kind of burying ourselves in a few ways. So we didn't want to necessarily open up ourselves to that type of ridicule unless it was going to pay off. And we were like, this could be amazing. Or it could be a giant trash fire of a disaster. We don't know when we were going into the show. Because we were like, there's no way anybody is going to want to sit and watch 3 to 4 hours of people sit around and play D&D live, pretty much nonstop. We were like, there's no one's going to care. And then we were like, if this doesn't work, after like 6 weeks, we'll just stop the show and go back to playing in our kitchens just like we were, and it's really nothing lost and nothing gained. It's fine. And then after 6 weeks, we were like, we kind of had that quick evaluation of like, are we gonna still do this? And by that point, we were already getting outpourings of fan mails and people, Amazon started selling out of D&D books on Thursday nights. Wonder why? We started like getting these pictures of these families saying that their family nights are playing D&D with everybody, and like so, and then all like the little girls like all the time that I get there's like, my daughter is playing a druid because of you, and then that's the stuff that just like, I mean you can't, like he said, the pros far outweigh the cons, and with this community and this show, that was tenfold. It wasn't as much of a balance like some other communities and other web shows and stuff that we've done. This was like, oh, well, I mean, and I get that, we get asked that a lot because people like to be vocal and they and there's a vocal minority that likes to voice their displeasure with me or the way he does things or whatever, but that luckily the positivity that's coming out of this, and there's a far greater vocal majority of people who are just wonderful, amazing people. I mean, like this whole community is like, everyone's so fucking smart, everyone's so damn talented. Like, it's the most amazing grouping of an internet community that I've ever seen, and to be a part of it's amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a very winded answer, but yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, it's interesting for me in particular because as the Dungeon Master of the show, and as a person that creates the story for the players and for myself primarily, for our own fun, we're not tailoring it for an audience. Sorry, I'm making this for my friends and hope they enjoy it, and we put cameras in the room and invited people to watch. And I don't know why that happened to get the attention. Well, I'm learning why it got the attention it did, is because, we fought so hard to keep it honest. And I guess that honesty is what I want to see in the media that I consume, and I want to make sure that we maintain through what we do. But those videos in particular, the What Critical Role Means to Me videos, I'm still recovering in a lot of ways from those. And we have many more that came in, and they're going to be doing an extended cut to be releasing soon with all the ones that came in late. But it's humbling, it's flabbergasting, and it's amazing to think that something that you just create for you and your friends and just inviting other people to share into it would have such a profound effect on people unexpectedly. And on one level, it's an unexpected responsibility in a way. It's like, oh, well, I better not mess this up then. But at the same time, it makes it so much more fulfilling and worthwhile. And I feel like if my time were to end tomorrow, I've done something worthwhile with the time that I had. So I have nothing but you guys to thank for that. We are so appreciative, because we wouldn't have any of this Without you guys are the community. You are the show. That's the thing. Like we jump on for a few hours, every week to create this story, but the community, the critter community, the Team Human, all these people are the life breath that made it a phenomenon and continue to carry it, because that type of mentality goes into your own home games, that goes into your own friendships, that goes into you guys supporting each other and defending each other and forging these bonds that, really, in my opinion, a lot of times only gaming can do. It's part of the reason that MAGFest is so great, is because it's a place where all of us can come here and just be ourselves and party together, and everyone's down to do the same. So that's my long-winded answer.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for everything
Thank
you
you.
do.
So this is a voice acting question for both of you guys.
Yes.
Obviously, you try to take jobs that you enjoy playing the game. Otherwise, you wouldn't really be passionate about the position you're taking. Now, obviously, with a game like Overwatch or any of the Star Wars series, those are really huge. How much pressure do you have to actually play the game when you're done? And two, is there any games where you've just been like, I'm out. I don't want to have anything to do with this when I'm done?
I mean, we don't, companies don't pressure us necessarily to play the games after we've done them. I kind of wish they would, because it'd be kind of fun to watch some of the voice actors who don't play games be like, I don't know what's happening. Which has happened a couple times, because they're starting to get, more and more companies are starting to realize the value in social media, and bringing like their cast onto the main Twitch, and like they had a bunch of their cast from Final Fantasy 15 on the launch day come and play. So they're starting to do things like that, which is probably going to have the non-gamer actor sweating a little. But there's not a lot of pressure per se. But we just happen to be gamers who also work in the industry. So the games we work on that we legitimately are excited about, yeah, we'll go home and play that shit. But
There's some where we're like, that was nice.
That was a paycheck.
That was a paycheck. Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah,
anymore.
we got plenty of those.
We have plenty of those. And then there's a decent amount of time that goes into it. Like, we just do not have time to play all the games that we're in. Which, wow, that sounded douchey. That was douchey. But yeah, man, still recovering from that amount of douche that just came out of my mouth.
But no, it gives some perspective to that, though, because there are a lot of good games that we want to play that we're not in, and so it's like, would I rather play this really good, excited? I'm not in the Witcher series, but I will put hundreds of hours into it.
That's true. Yeah.
So
We still play the games we want to play. Like, I've toyed around with Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront. I'm not really necessarily like a huge Battlefront person, but like, Persona and like the other RPGs and stuff, that's way more engaging for me. So yeah, I think it just kind of depends, but yeah, we're fans of the genre first, and we're just glad we get to play in this sphere. So it's kind of awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you again for your
so
life-saving delivery.
You're welcome. Oh my God. There's literally for staff and guests, there's a whole room just full of tea and cookies. I will show. I did not know this was a thing until somebody's like, there's a tea. I'm like, you know where to find me.
And they call the other place the hospitality suite.
I mean, that's the run. That's the
And
run.
we have a high tea room.
And
Good to know,
it's
thank you.
quiet and the lights are dim and there's actually like cots to sleep on apparently. Yeah. What? yeah, I know. Sorry, you guys can't come. Anyway, I just want to say, first of all, obviously, I'm pretty sure everybody here is thank you for Critical Role. Like, that has made. I have converted. Hold on. I'm doing the thing that I yell at actors to do. I work in I work in a theater as a tech, and I've actually been able to convert several of my coworkers and actors to watching Critical Role, and then got them to play D&D with me, which is awesome. Also, pray for me, because with your custom bard class, I jokingly said, what if we had a high-level all-bard campaign? And they took it seriously. Yeah.
This is
That's amazing.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I did this to me.
This sounds like the greatest idea.
That needs its own like RPG system, like 7C style, like
Yeah,
where it's
'cause you can
just
have,
a
like-
whole world where everyone is magical.
They're a
symphonist.
traveling band, and
Yeah.
they're touring, and they have roadies, and it's.
Oh my God, it's like Jim and the holograms. Holy shit.
I promise we're gonna try to record it. We're gonna try to record it, put it on the internet somewhere. I can't I'm really new at DMing, so we'll see how this
Even
goes.
just clips or something.
That's the whole thing. Like I'm planning, but I'm like, how much of this is actually? I have actors and technicians, and I have theater people. I have actual bards playing bards that are all bards, and
So meta.
but the best part is I get to have the last word, and I can't say why because several of them might be watching. But the final boss is gonna be fun if they live.
awesome.
If they live that long.
Oh, take that, charisma's a dump stat.
No, actually, that was my question. I promise I have a question.
What's your question?
With one of my friends, we were actually talking about what would our stats, if we actually had D&D stats as people, what would they be? Because the running joke is that I have a good friend who has very high intelligence, very high charisma, very low wisdom.
Oh, yeah.
You and like 3 of my other friends. It's like I hang out with actors or something.
So you're asking what
what would your personal dump stat be? What would be your high? Like what sort of, if you had to assign stats for yourself?
Oh, okay. Oh, man.
This was like a 2-hour discussion over drinks at a bar one day for all of us.
No, I would have, oh man, I would not.
talked about this.
I would not have a high dexterity at all. I'm a clumsy oaf of a man. and Marisha can attest to this.
We saw my dexterity check on the stage, so it's fine.
I think I'd have a low constitution.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
I hate the cold. I'll like first person.
How are you
puke
enjoying the
if
snow?
I can take a punch, but maybe that would be more like
that could be
AC and
constitution.
strength based. Like it's not the physical damage. It's like everything else. I hate being sick. I hate period cramps. I hate it all. It's the bane of my existence if something's like physically wrong.
I
with
think
me.
there was a point in time where I actually made a Marisha character sheet as part of like a Valentine's Day thing.
I've done that with my friends.
Yeah, it's fun. I remember going, no, it'll be fine. She'll understand if I give her a low constitution.
And I think, didn't you put wisdom as my highest?
I put wisdom as one of your highest, yeah.
Yeah. Which I think I don't know.
No, you're pretty damn insightful, girl. You read people like that. She saved my ass on many occasions. I will admit I probably have a very low wisdom
Yeah,
to
but
a
you
certain
beat me in
extent.
charisma by like tenfold. I'd probably,
Charisma's all I got.
my charisma would be like my second lowest stat, I feel like.
I don't think so. Yeah, I'd probably put Dex or Wisdom as my dumb stats, or both evenly at like a solid 8.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You know, they're not like broken,
You
but
just- you
definitely
have that-
lower than average.
You have that -1. The save, you can probably get a better save than you do a check, but you're not
Yeah.
gonna
I mean,
die.
I may have feeded into a couple specialties, here and there, but overall,
All right, is that?
yeah, it's a great question.
Thank you. It was a
Thank
great
you.
question. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, so I don't know. Matt, I watched you. There Will Be Brawl like all my freshman year of high school. It's really nostalgic to me. I don't think anybody else here has seen it because I didn't hear you clapping over anything.
For those who haven't seen There'll Be Brawl and you want to look at some internet history, it was a web series that I directed back in 2008, 2009. Thank you. That is a live-action film noir HBO crime drama version of the Nintendo Smash Brothers universe. And actually, the reason I went to my first MAGFest is because we were guests for that web series back in 2009. But yeah, it's ridiculous. You should check it out. So awesome. Yay.
My actual question is, did you ever, when you first got hired for like Fire Emblem and Smash Bros., did you ever have more like, this is sort of fitting, or anything like that?
I did exactly, actually. I mean, working on Fire Emblem was already in its own right pretty cool, but wasn't as strong a connection as Smash Brothers, but it was enough where I'm like, oh shit, it's like kind of sort of Marth Ike adjacent, I guess. And then when I got called in to work on Smash Brothers for Crom stuff, they didn't tell me what it was beforehand. It was just an undisclosed Nintendo project. I'm like, all right. And so I get in there and meet the producers. Like, all right, cool. So you're working on Smash Brothers today? I'm like, yeah! Like, you're not playable. I'm like, no. Like, but we make fun of that. Yes! And so I didn't say anything at first, but in my head I was like, oh, this is the coolest kind of full circle from almost killing myself making a web series parodying Smash Brothers to being actually in the game. That was kind of an unexpected. I remember coming home and being super excited to see you when it happened. But partway through the session, we were on break, and I like couldn't contain myself and was talking to the producers. I'm like, this is really cool because like back in the day, I did a web series called There We Brawl, and they're like, oh no, we know, we've seen it. And there was that like brief pause of like, oh god. I did kill off a lot of characters.
So they saw all the stuff with Captain Falcon and Pit and stuff like that.
Yeah, no.
And DDD.
Oh man, yeah. There was like I had 100 flashes of moments in that series. I was like, please don't be offended. Please don't be offended. And they're like, no, we were huge fans of it in college actually, and we before we worked at Nintendo, and we didn't know that until we looked up your IMDb, and I was like, holy shit. I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, like as long as Nintendo doesn't know that I have like a couple of sex scenes in there, I think we'll be okay. But yeah, no, I was a really kind of fun full circle that I hold as a private badge on my soul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Voice acting question, actually, because at the risk of me sounding a little dense, because I don't really know how this works, when you go into an whoops. Thank you.
There you go.
When you go into an audition, do they really have a set idea of what they want for a character? Or in other words, do they tailor the character around your voice, or are you expected to tailor your voice around what they want?
When you're pulled in, well, the audition process usually involves the audition sides or the audition piece with the description of the character going out to a number of agencies. And these agencies then disseminate those through their actors based on who they think would be good for which parts. So you get the audition, you either record it from home if you have a home setup, or you record at the actual agency if they have a booth. So most auditions, you aren't even interfacing with the actual producers or anyone on that side. You're just kind of throwing it into the ether and crossing your fingers, going, hope they like what I gave them. And then if they like it, they'll have you in for callbacks. And callbacks is kind of like the next round.
Okay.
And that's usually where you get to go and meet at a studio with the actual producers and maybe the director. And they'll come to you and be like, all right, we liked something about your voice for this character. Let's see if we can tweak it with a few of these notes, and here's some new lines, and we'll see how you take direction. And that's where you kind of show what you have. But for the most part, and kind of why Marisha laughed when you mentioned the question, they'll tell you, what we're looking for is we want kind of this type of a Mark Hamill Joker type sound. And you're like, okay, so then everyone...
They go like this. They go, well, here's the thing. We want like a kind of Mark Hamill, kind of Joker sound, but, with like a little bit of Heath Ledger, and, but we want him to be distinguishable away from Mark Hamill. We don't want it to sound like Mark Hamill, so, and then, but, we don't really also, we don't want Jared Leto, but maybe just, how Jared Leto does that weird, like, nasally thing? So if you could just do that.
Oh, God.
They'll do that type of, and you're just like...
So, when you were doing McCready in Fallout 4, they wanted kind of a Marty McFly vibe who shoots people. Is that
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
actually,
That's a wonderful breakdown for him.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, from what you just said, Mark Hamill probably booked it because that's how it works. We don't want it to sound like Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill books it.
Yeah, you kind of slowly start to learn that when they say, we don't want Rashida Jones, it means they want Rashida Jones. They just can't think of any other examples.
And if they can't afford her, they want somebody as a
who
backup.
sounds kind of like her. Yeah.
But a lot of times, and this is more often than not, a lot of people don't know really what they want until they hear it. So there is a confidence that comes with that as a performer, where even though they're asking you for something, give them something that you feel is good and that feels right for the character and for you as an actor. If it wasn't right for the role, then you just move on to the next one. But more often than not, if you get called in for something, it's because you brought something different that they weren't expecting to the role that they were asking for, and they were trying to find how they can play with that and bring it to something cool. And many times they'll tell you afterward, yeah, we had no idea what we were looking for until we heard your audition.
Okay.
So take that as a piece of confidence as well.
All right, thank you very much.
No worries. And yeah, for McCready's audition, sorry, I didn't mean to just like stomp on your guys' applause. Like, no, there will be no clapping.
Sorry.
For McCready as well, it basically said like early 20s, mercenary, upbeat at times, but he's got a chip on his shoulder for about certain things, kind of rough and tumble, but a nice guy, and that was like all they gave me. And so thus became Marty McFly, who likes to shoot people.
All right, thanks.
No worries. Just don't make me pick up any of your junk.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Hi.
I had a question for Matt.
Yes.
I know you've used the hourglass on Vox Machina before. Have you ever thought about bringing any other alternative mechanics into the game, like, say, subjecting them to a dread tower or something like that?
If I could find a way to work it in where it didn't break the immersion of the narrative, then yes.
Like maybe in a one-off episode? Like one of the battle...
A one-off,
like
maybe.
A battle royale?
Yeah, we haven't had a moment yet to really do a one-off since the story's been kind of driving for a little bit. But if I like the idea of introducing mechanics like that. The hourglass is nice because it's kind of on my control. It doesn't require player interaction, and itself is a visual cue of the growing tension. So I love that aspect. And I'm always kind of trying to think of different things that we can incorporate to do certain other things. But like a dread tower would be difficult for our normal game because it involves each player having to go and interact with it per se, or I could do it on my own, I guess. But then it's almost my fault if it falls, which kind of it loses the player agency.
Yeah.
So and we're kind of spread out in the room.
What's a dread tower?
It's Jenga.
What is it?
It's a Jenga tower.
Why didn't you just say Jenga tower? That I recognize.
Because it's scarier if I say dread tower.
Yeah.
Dread tower.
Dread tower.
And if you knock it over, you die.
Yeah.
Why would anyone want this? Why?
Can someone please make the Dread Tower horror movie? Not the game Dread, just like a Ouija board, like the haunted Dread Tower. Like, is it Jenga? No, we didn't get that license. It's the Dread Tower.
Yeah. Oh, like Judge Dredd? No, we didn't get that license either.
It's just the Dread Tower.
Just the Dread Tower.
Replace the block or die. Imagine how anticlimactic it's got to be. Like, oh.
No, it's exactly like that. You guys actually influenced me to DM my own games, but
nice.
Yeah, but I picked Dread because I thought it would be harder to screw up than running a D&D first thing, and I ran them through a aliens-themed Dread game,
Nice.
and they ended up dying in the cold vacuum of space, and it was fantastic.
That's a beautiful ending.
It was. It was so perfect.
I love that. Oh. Man, an aliens-themed Dread game is actually a really good idea.
It was really good. I had sound effects and atmospheric stuff like a smoke machine and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Smoke machine?
Yeah.
I gotta up my game. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
How's it going?
Hi.
Hey, this is another voice acting question.
Yes.
So, I guess breaking into any kind of career, it's best to have like a portfolio or a demo reel or something like that. I was wondering what you guys find is like the best kind of thing to incorporate in a demo reel or something like that, just to show your range to different people that you're trying to get a job for.
Honestly, start with showing off your natural voice first. I think so many people want to jump to be like, look at these crazy voices I can do. And the reality is, this crazy voice that you can do is not what, I mean, it's just not in the media these days. Like, we're not doing Looney Tunes cartoons anymore, you know. So for the most part, listen to media around you, and especially if you like, for example, video games or cartoons or whatever, you're kind of wanting to go into, and just hear what other people, or even commercial, like listen to what they're booking right now. And for the most part, it's more natural, more cinematic. Part of the reason I book is because they actually like this lower kind of gravel to my voice that I have, because not a whole lot of females have that, and they like it for video games because it sounds a little bit more gruff and a little bit good for those sultry types, So yeah, just go with your strengths, because honestly, that's where you'll book the most.
Cool.
Yeah, and on that regard too, like you can still do the character voices if you're comfortable in those, but save those
Be
till later in the
strong
demo.
them too. Yeah, put them at the end, and like don't put on an accent on there unless like you know that accent is fail safe. Don't do a crazy character unless you know you can hold it for 4 hours, because that's the thing. If you book based on something that they pull in and then you can't deliver for 4 hours, then
You've shot your career in the foot, essentially.
yeah, you're in a worser place than you started.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be a jack of all trades. You don't need a Mel Blanc. Stick to your strengths.
Awesome.
And in that same regard too, because the accent reason is because when you consider a lot of these casting directors work often with having to cast accented characters, and have to cast a lot of actual British people, actual African people, actual Australians, and hearing these actual natural accents as often as they do and having to study them, when someone comes up and is like, "Hello, governor," on their audition tape or their demo tape, they immediately shut out anything you have in your demo. It's just, they're like, "Oh, no, not that guy." So yeah, you definitely want to stick to your strengths in that regard. Also consider too for voiceover. When you think voiceover, you're like cartoons, video games. That is a hard part of the industry to break into, and it is a prominent part of the industry, but there are a lot of other forms of voiceover as well that fill in the gaps. There's radio commercials, there's industrial commercials, there's internal use industrial, there's promo. There are so many other facets of voiceover as well that all together help, and you kind of want to produce work that shows each bit, because that gives you the most competitive edge. I have a lot of friends that I've met through my agency who make far more money than I do just doing promo. They don't do anything else.
So jealous of our
except
promo
for like,
friends.
this Friday on Fox at 9 p.m., this show is happening. Watch it. And that's their thing, and they have a house 18 times the size of mine. And you're like, cool, bro. I'm in a video game. But yeah, so those are great. Also, if you go to, there's a couple of great websites I recommend. iwanttobeavoiceactor.com, which is run by D. Baker, who's one of the most talented, prolific voice actors in the industry. It's a blog where he answers questions and talks about getting into the industry, how to prepare your demos, what people are looking for, trends as they come through the industry. Highly recommend you take a look at that.
Sweet. Thanks
Awesome.
a lot.
Good question, man.
Oh, good day. Hello, Kiki. Hello, Dungeon Master. I have a question for you.
Yes.
I'm DMing for my little kiddo and his groups. And we take them against a bunch of NPCs, and I'm just wondering, how do you handle the initiative and the roles and the order and all that good stuff? Because I'm not really hot with the numbers.
That was awesome.
Oh, Grog.
Kiki.
For me, initiative, having everyone shout numbers is way too chaotic for me. That's, if you'll see me, I'll ask from top to bottom. I was like, all right, 25 to 20. And if anyone says, 23, then I'll just put their name at the top of just a piece of paper. And then I'll go, all right, 20 to 15. And someone says 18, I'll put their name next. If the creature or any enemies that I rolled initiative for appear in that order as we go down, then I write them on a column to the right of that. So it almost like stagger, like player, player, enemy, player, enemy, player, player. So it's a visual distinction when I know that an enemy's coming up versus a player's turn, but also it gives me a consistent view that's quick to write and shows the actual order as it goes around. And like with layer actions, if there's things that happen on initiative count 20, I'll go ahead and mark that with an asterisk and put a 20 next to it. But it just taking quick notes and asking each player to give me their initiatives within the descending order. That way I don't have to worry about the scattering numbers like 14, 12, 2, 6, 18. You're all going at the same time. So I feel you there, definitely. But that's my method. And I'm sure if you look on YouTube, there's probably some great initiative tracker options. Some people prefer to roll before the game. Like actually, everyone rolls an initiative order at the top of the session, and then you keep track of that, and whenever battle happens, you just pull the numbers over and go with those in the moment. That way you don't slow down that kind of like, boom, you're in battle moment. So there's a lot of cool methods to it to prevent that type of chaos.
Awesome. Did have one last question for both of you, since you are nerdy-ass voice actors. Neverwinter is also one of my favorite games I play for Xbox One. Was wondering if you guys, because you're the king and queen of D&D, if you ever have any plans of doing any voiceovers or any kind of like interactions with that, being that it's a ever-going kind of growing game.
Right.
I don't know. That's kind of up to them. That's the hard part as an actor is you can't be like, hey guys, I love your game. Put me in it and pay me.
I mean, that should work.
Generally frowned upon in the industry, I've discovered. We'd love to be able to do that, but I like to think as we're more involved in the D&D sphere, that as they work on projects in the future, maybe they'll keep us in mind.
Think of us first, maybe, hopefully.
Somewhere in that mix, I'll be happy.
It's hard too, though, because like on the other end of that wall, there's like, they've got 50 people working on creative too, and the casting director or marketing person might not know or give one lick about Critical Role. So,
So if you're working on a D&D video game, suggest us.
We'll do the voices.
We're available.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Alrighty. Oh, try and get to these questions. We got.
You got time?
We got very fast time, so we'll try and get
Okay.
them real
So
quick.
you guys have like your own range of voices, but has there ever been a character like in a game that you've played that you wish like your voice could fit them so you could act as them? Because like, I don't know, just as an example, my voice is really deep, but if I were to have a dream role, I love Princess Daisy from the Mario series, but I could never get my voice that high. Have you ever like felt that way about a certain character?
Geralt of Rivia.
Yeah. Laura Croft.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a certain level of gravel and texture to Geralt that I could only match with years and years of abusing alcohol.
And there's a certain amount of British that comes with Laura Croft that only comes with being years and years of being British. So I probably won't ever be Laura, but it's amazing.
Good question.
I know we're running out of time, so I'm just going to say you're awesome.
You're awesome
thank you, Mercy.
I never got your skin.
I want your skin.
Yeah, mine was a big question.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
We'll do our best to get
all
to
right.
it.
I wrote it down too, so hold on.
Oh, we're getting out of time over here.
All right.
Okay. Like when you were getting to voiceover at first, like how do you begin to figure out like what does the roadmap look like, or what system sort of like work to sort of do that? Because I'm taking like acting classes and stuff, but beyond that, I'm like, it's like a blurry future. I don't know what's going on.
Short answer is just training and acting classes. You can't be a voice actor until you learn to be an actor first.
There really is no roadmap.
There's no roadmap. No roadmap. But those sites like howtobeavoiceactor.com or a voiceover voice actor by Yuri and Tara is a great stuff, and they can help you there.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay.
Your kanji's awesome.
Are we done? Am I going to be like...
Rapid fire.
Rapid
Last
fire.
two. Go.
Okay. This is too... Yeah, well, I know that. So I'm jumping from theater to voiceover. From theater training, what's going to be like the best part of theater training to bring with me? Because they're not going to see my face or my body language, so...
You're ahead of the curve, actually. Theater is actually better for voiceover than coming from an on-camera background, because on-camera people have a harder time visualizing the scene around you, because just keep in mind you're going to be in a black box, so the best thing you can bring over is all of those visualization, those like scene and visualization exercises
all
that they
those
made you
things
do.
that they make you lay in a dark room and think...
100%.
Yeah.
100%. That's all voiceover is pretending you're actually on that battlefield and like looking around and pretending you see things.
Awesome.
Also, cold reading in general is one of the biggest skill sets for voiceover.
Yeah, practice cold
ever.
reading.
So cold reading is huge.
Awesome.
Yeah. Last question.
Thank you.
Hi there. So I always listen to your voice in the games like Fallout, Overwatch, Resident Evil, and Fire Emblem. But I'm always wondering, like, how did you get interest in the voice acting business?
Uber fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We grew up, interest in theater, but also grew up huge nerds.
Yeah.
And so as we got older, we were like, how can we marry these together? How can we just go be friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And spent many years living impoverished lifestyles to
Eating
get
lots
there.
of ramen. Yeah, tiny studio apartments, roach motels.
You know the deal.
Crashing on friends' couches. We were very, very poor and starving for a very long time.
Yeah.
That's kind of the lifestyle you accept. But yeah, we kind of just married all the things we loved, and that was kind of awesome.
Was our drive.
Kind of lucked out.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
questions. We're
We're
gonna
gonna
run.
go do a signing.
We're gonna run to the signing.
Yeah, which is downstairs in the basement, I think. It's already full.
Oh.
It's full. Yeah, it's already full. Wow. So,
Well.
yeah, I don't have anything to recover from that bad news. That was a bummer. Okay.
We
Thank you
love you
guys. I
guys.
love you.